Hello and welcome back to Lord Fen Gaming Plays Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm your host Lord Fen. In this Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video guide, I'll show everybody on how to defeat Starfall Street Final bosses. As always, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video guides like this. Do not forget notification bells to be updated and more. Here's the deal. In order to get to this part of the game, you must defeat all Team Star's 5 bosses. Once you do that, then you have access to this. Please note this is a level 62, 63 encounter. If you're 64, 65, that's great. If you're above 65, you'll wreck everything in sight. So let's go ahead and talk about spoilers before we go on. Now, you're supposed to go at night for this, but here's the deal. Coming up, there'll be 2 heavy spoilers. And I did cut out the cutscenes on purpose, so this way you don't get spoiled at all. Reason being, as soon as I reveal the first boss you will face, that's spoiler number 1. The second boss will be spoiler number 2. So if you go beyond this point of the picnic scene, I have a clean up all my Pokemon. Well, guess what? You're going to get spoiled. So if you don't want to get spoiled, defeat all 5 Team Star bosses and then come back to this video and then check it out. So we're going to go over the first boss we're going to face. And from this point on, if you go beyond it, you'll get spoiled. So I'm going to leave this for a few more seconds. Then, of course, start the guide. As you see before you, Director Clavell will be your opponent for the first part of this fight. So he has total 6 Pokemon. The first one he always does bring out is the Oranguru. Now, this Pokemon is a normal / psychic type. So I decided to use the psychic type weakness, which is dark. So King Gambit will wipe it out big time, for instance. If you have any other good dark type Pokemons, go ahead and use them too. Let's get to the second Pokemon on his team. Now, next up is Houndoom. This is a dark and fire type Pokemon. Now, dark type, it's strong against its ghost psychic, and then it's weak against bug, fairy, and fighting. As for the fire type, it's strong against bug, grass, ice, and steel, weak against ground, rock, and water. You could go the ground, rock, and water route, or the bug, fairy, and fighting route, which I believe I did the bug, fairy, and fighting route. At times, it was a little bit confusing because I thought it was another Pokemon, but still, keep your cool. Use any of its weakness against it, and you should defeat it. So let's get to the third Pokemon. Now, please note I'm showing them in the order of my battle against these Pokemon. So the first one will always be the same thing with the 6. However, 2 through 5 won't be. So our third Pokemon is Polteageist. This is a pure ghost type Pokemon. For those of you who want to know the strength and weaknesses, very simple. Strong against ghost and psychic, weak against dark and ghost. Yeah, that's like a glass can. Use a dark type Pokemon. You'll easily destroy it. King Gambit wrecked it big time. Now, if you don't have a King Gambit, then use a dark type Pokemon once again. So let's go over the fourth Pokemon on the list. This fourth Pokemon is a level 60 Abomasnow. This is a grass and, of course, ice type Pokemon. Since this was very easy, I went into it to go ahead and recover some hit points, which was very important. So I'll go over the grass and, of course, ice type Pokemon strength and weaknesses really quick. Now, grass, which is ground, rock, and water, strong against, however, weak against bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. Now, for ice types, strong against dragon, flying, grass, and ground, weak against fighting, fire, rock, and steel. 2 words in the same category, fire and fire. Go ahead and use your fire Pokemon. If you have a fire star with you, abuse it because you'll be able to destroy this Pokemon with ease. So let's go over to number 5 on this team, shall we? Next up, Pokemon number 5 is Amoonguss. This is a poison / grass type Pokemon. It looks like a giant mushroom. Again, grass type, which is ground, rock, and water. Weak against bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. Since it's poison, it's strong against fairy and grass. Weak against ground and psychic. You could go a few ways. You could go the ground and psychic, or the bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. I did the flying, but be careful. You can't really use Hurricane twice in a row or 3 times because I'll attempt to spam it. After the first hit, it'll dodge like crazy. Now, if it dodged like I say the second time or so, not the third time, switch to another Pokemon. I swapped to a fire one a bit too late. But still, I did finish the job though. So I sacrificed one Pokemon, the flying type, to do enough mega damage so my fire type could go in. Now, if you have a fire type starter after this battle, don't use it at all. I'll explain what's the final opponent is, and here we go. This is the sixth and final Pokemon. It is always locked. That's the good news. Too bad news, it will go into Tera form when it's about to do its first attack. And what is worse is it'll be against the starter type that you picked that is stronger. So for example, I have the fire type, I'll have to face the water type. So if you have the water type, you have to face the grass type. If you have the grass type, you have to face the fire type. So you better know your opponent's type and weaknesses. So for example, I have the water type I'm facing against. I will have to definitely use electric type. I could go Tera form, go Tera versus Tera if I wanted to seal the deal. Now, if I'm facing against, for instance, the fire type, it will be a ground, rock, or water Pokemon. Now, if it's grass type, it will be bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. Keep you cool against this curveball Pokemon, which is level 61, and you'll definitely win the battle. So that is about it for the Director's 6 Pokemon, and also part 1 of this entire fight. So I'm going to go over the part 1 suggestions of Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and explain. So here we go in this part. I'm going to go ahead and go over my suggestions of Pokemon I'm about to face. Now, I'm having King Gambit. That is my dark type Pokemon. In fact, there are 2 encounters that are dark type. Now, what I did was I have Koto Cleave. I'm about to switch out Sword Dance for now for another dark type as backup, which is Night Slash. You want to do that, that's fine. If not, Sword Dance is good enough for it, but this is just for the situation. And there we go. Now, at some certain point, the next Pokemon I'm about to talk about is the Fire Starter I have. I'm about to face 2 opponents that are really weak against fire. Now, at the time, I did the first one, which is the Ice type one and the Grass type one, and I annihilate those opponents like crazy. Now, the other one I should have done was kept it for the Poison type, but I also used that for the Air type. Next up is Palmoot. That's Electric type. I used that for the last fight because it was Water type. Now, if you have the Grass type you're facing against, go with a Fire type. And if you're facing the water, or I should say it's the other type, then go do that too. Now, I'm showing again King Gambit. That was for another fight. Now, the other one for the Poison and Grass type I tried to do was use Hurricane. It did knock it down half hit points, but then it started to dodge like crazy. You can use that against that too. It is a very good Pokemon to definitely use. Now, Espeon is an EV type I have on the bottom list. That is for certain Pokemon types that's weak against, of course, Psychic types. You heard that right. So I'd go ahead and use that nice curveball too. Which is good though, if I want to go that route. And if not, I decide to use my Fairy type. One of the battles I actually did use my Fairy type to annihilate the foes like crazy. In this case, it was Houndoom, Fire, and Dark with the fighting moves. That's about it for my team. I'm going to go ahead and let the battle go on. I'll be back after the first battle is done. After the cutscene with the director, what happens next is you have a shot at Cassiopeia. Now, here's the deal. Cassiopeia use all Eevee evolved Pokemon type. All 6 of them are evolved from Eevee. And they have one type of weakness only. That is the great news. Now, first of all, the level 62 one you see before you is Umbreon. That is a dark type Pokemon. I'm going to go over its strength and weaknesses. Dark types are strong against Ghost and Psychic. However, it's weak against Bug, Fairy, and Fighting. Now, I use Tinkaton since it has the Fighting and, of course, Fairy type to annihilate it. You use whatever it's weak against, and you'll quickly end this round. So let's go over the second Pokemon. Now, from here on out, 2 to 5 is in a mixed order. In my case, I face the Flareon. This is a Fire-type Pokemon. So you definitely want to not bring is a Bug, Grass, Ice, and Steel. Instead, bring a Ground, Rock, and Water type. In my case, I brought my Water type, and that was a very easy fight. So I'm going to go over the third Pokemon on Cassiopeia's team. The third Pokemon I did face is the level 62 Jolteon. It is an electric type Pokemon. Do not use water or flying types at all. Instead, use a ground type. You're asking, why is that fitting? Great chance to one-shot it, or if you can't, do a two-shot. You can use Dig just to scope out his moves, but I use Earthquake and seal the deal really quick. So I'm going to go over the fourth Pokemon on Cassiopeia's team. This next Pokemon, which is the fourth member of the team you're about to face, is the level 62 Vaporeon. This is a water type Pokemon, so if you decide to go ahead and use fire, ground, and rock, it will kick your butt. Electric and grass type will wreck it. I'm using Palm Move, for example, for electric type. Now, if you have the starter grass type and you build it well, it will annihilate it too big time. So let's go over the fifth Pokemon on Cassiopeia's team. Next up is Leafeon. This is a pure grass type Pokemon at level 62. So if you're using ground, rock, and water types, it will kick your Pokemon's butt. Now if you're using bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison, you'll destroy it. You have a fire star and you build it well like I did, you'll wreck it big time. Most likely you'll definitely one-shot it. So let's go over the sixth and final Pokemon type that does get Tera form, or I should say Tera powered up, and here we go. Last but not least is Sylveon. This is a fairy type Pokemon at level 62. It will go into Tera form when the battle starts against it. So do not use the following: fighting, dark, or dragon types. You'll get wrecked. Poison and steel, on the other hand, will wreck it. Toxicity is a good poison type. Tinkaton is a great, of course, steel type, because the Giga Hammer does a lot of damage. If you want to, you could take a risk by using a fighting move to drop its defense, like for example Rock Smash, and then use the Giga Hammer. One Giga Hammer was enough to one-shot it. That's about it for Cassiopeia's Pokemon team. So I'm going to go over my Pokemon suggestions. Now for my Pokemon suggestion team, I had to go fast because I had to fight only at night against Cassiopeia at this point. So I'm going to go over the Pokemon strength and weaknesses. First of all, Tinkaton, I really used it for a steel type. Yeah, that hammer is really nice. It actually did some good damage. And like I said, for a Gig type hammer is good. If I'm using it against fairy types, that's Play Rough is nice too. If I need a debuff foes, Rock Smash is good too. But most likely I did one-shot it. Now next up is the Gyarados. That's against the fire type. Water is of course its type, and I wrecked it with Waterfall. Yeah, Waterfall is a very good skill to definitely use. Now next up for the electric type was to counter, of course, the other type, which is, of course, Palmoot. So I used Palmoot. Thunderbolt. Spark was very good. I did a lot of damage against it. Now, when Cassiopeia uses her, where should I say, electric type, ground type was the way to go. I use Earthquake. One shot and nice. If you want to use Dig just to see what moves it uses, that's fine. But Earthquake will do the job. Now, next up was the my counter, of course, which is the against the grass type, which is Skeledige. This is a good Pokemon to use. It uses Torch Song and Overheat. If you do not have this Pokemon at all, you didn't pick the Fire Starter, Arcanine is a great alternative to definitely use with Fire type. Now, King Gambit, I mainly use for a Dark or Steel type. Depends on how I feel on the way to go. This was just my backup. I would probably use Steel type with the Iron Head. That's about it, really. So that's my Pokemon team suggestions. Once you have your team ready, make your save and go on in to defeat Cassiopeia. So I'm going to go ahead and show the battle. After that, I'm going to talk about the reward and then give some final advice for both battles. Upon defeating Cassiopeia and going through a lengthy cutscene, which is a very good one, you obtain TM-169, which is Dracometer and summon comments from the sky. Now, this recoil effect lowers your special attack, but it's a very powerful move to definitely use. Now, I say make about one or two of them if you want to go that far in sacrificing your attack after doing some mega damage. Here's some final advice before I do end the video guide. For the first battle, know your Pokemon types, definitely. If you need to switch, go ahead and do so. Battle 1 is actually, I felt like, harder than Battle 2. Now, keep you cool in Battle 1, you win the day. Now, if you somehow win one battle, and then it goes in the day, just come back at night. Don't panic. Saving between battles is good. You'll get healed up in between the two fights. As for Fight 2, it's a single type Pokemon you're going to be facing, which is evolved from the Eevees, which is very good. Now, all you need to do is know the strengths and weaknesses, and then use the weaknesses against the Pokemon in the battlefield. Use my suggestions for that to quickly win this fight. This is it for my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet How to Defeat Starfall Street Final Bosses video guide. This is Lord Fan signing off. Thanks for watching, and have a great day or night, and do please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet guides just like this. If you like what you see, then pick my suggestion on the upper left hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left hand corner. Have a wonderful day or night and do enjoy the view.